resume the recording here. And welcome. Yeah, welcome everyone to our KV Course Success Meetup. We're going to go over some holiday date-based campaigns, and then I'll leave plenty of time for any questions or that y'all have. And we'll kind of go through our agenda a little bit here today. So again, we're going to create a template, and a holiday template in Advanced Email Editor. We also have a few holiday templates that y'all can use for these. We're going to go over how to create a holiday date-based campaign and how we can run it annually, kind of connect these to our leads accordingly. So while we're here, we're going to go ahead and kind of dive on in and get started with creating a holiday date-based campaign. This is really helpful around the holiday season because, again, you can just kind of have it attached to all your leads or specific leads like your sphere leads, so maybe leads with a specific hashtag, and then go ahead and kind of have that run accordingly. You can see here for fun, I already have my poor husband testing, and you can see here he's got some April Fool's campaigns, Christmas Eve campaigns, and New Year's campaigns, but we're going to start at the top here. So the first thing we're always do when we're creating smart campaigns is we got to go to the marketing section to create them, right? So we're going to go to marketing. We're going to go here, marketing, and then specifically click on smart campaigns. Now you'll notice here, I'm going to go ahead and scope this to myself. If you're an office, company, or team admin, you can create this on the team, company, or kind of office levels. And that way everyone in your account or your team, office, company, so on and so forth, oh me, oh my, can use the campaign as needed. So the first thing we're going to do here is select to add our campaign. Now you'll notice there's a few options. We can do lead as new, contact as transferred, hashtag is, or we're specifically today, since it is for a holiday, going to select when a specific date occurs. So for today, we're going to go ahead and kind of use New Year's. Everyone, or I think a majority of people celebrate the New Year. New Year, new me, right? And 2024 is definitely rolling in quick. So there's a few options here. You can actually select this for birthdays. So, example, if you wanted to create or be a little bit more personal and send someone an actual birthday card instead of just using our automation to send like a birthday email or text, you can actually create like a birthday campaign 7 days in advance to send them a card. Same thing here with like purchase anniversaries. You can do that here as well. Just something to kind of note that we do have specific dates. Again, the birthday and the purchase anniversary would have to be added into the lead's profile for this to work. Otherwise, we don't know when their birthday or purchase anniversary is. But in today's example, we're going to select a specific date because we are doing this for holidays specifically. So I'm going to select a specific date. And then from here, you can kind of choose the start date. So if we scroll down, if we wanted to do it on Christmas or Christmas Eve, we could select, these dates. We're going to go ahead and kind of select the new year here. So I'm going to select Monday the 1st. If I want to run this, or maybe I'll have this run a day early. If I want to run this annually, so again, every year, if I want this to run on the 31st, I can select that here. Now, the key part here for date-based campaigns, especially when you're picking a specific date, is this is going to attach to pretty much all of my leads unless I add additional qualifiers. So like hashtag is, for example, if we add hashtag is, renter or something along those lines, if we just wanted this for our renters. Or same thing here, if we wanted to do this for status is, if I just wanted to do this for my sphere, I could select again in the additional qualifiers, status is, and just select sphere here. But if I want this to attach to everyone, oh me, oh my, we're going to kind of remove these additional qualifiers, which can get a little bit tricky from my understanding. So if I want to add a trigger here, I can do that. We're going to go ahead and kind of select a specific date and then kind of remove that additional qualifier. So then again, this is going to attach to everyone in my database, which will be pretty awesome because again, I want to tell everyone to have a happy 2024 and enjoy the new year here. More so too, if I want it to attach to everyone, I got to keep this always run on. This means that this will attach to kind of every lead no matter what. So always runs important with smart campaigns because when you do enable it, any lead that matches this smart campaign's criteria, it's automatically going to attach. And with date-based campaigns, again, this is retroactive, so this is going to attach to leads that are currently in my smart CRM compared to when you're building non-date based smart campaigns. Typically, it's only for new leads that are coming into your system. If I want to lock it, I can kind of lock it here as well. I'm going to go ahead and select next here. And then who is this designed for? So again, if I want this to attach to everyone, we're going to have to select everything. So easy enough. We can select all here. And then again, this is for all kind of buyers, sellers, renters, vendors, agents, oh my. And then we're going to create kind of our details. So instead of New Year's, I'm going to call this one New Year's Eve. Campaign. Again, we got my always run here, which is important. So this is make sure to attach to all my leads. We have our campaign description. We have it locked. And then it's up to review and add. Now we're not quite done after we do all of this work, right? When we create it, we have to add some actions to it. We have to create templates, and most importantly, we got to turn it on. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of select finish here. And if I type in, New Year's here to my campaign search bar, you can see here I have my New Year's campaign that's already turned off. Did I call this one New Year's Eve? Let me kind of see here. You can tell I've made a few of these, so thanks for bearing with me. I should know what I name my campaigns, right? New Year's Eve campaign. So you can see here, New Year's Eve campaign. We don't have it turned on quite yet. And again, you can see here, there's no actions because it says NA. So we're going to go here, select New Year's Eve campaign. Guess I added an apostrophe in there. I'm hooked on phonics, kids, so give me a little leeway on that. And we don't, even if we turn it on here, it's not going to matter too much because again, we don't have any actions quite yet. So we want to add some actions. We want to create some emails here. So first thing, I'm going to add an email. And you'll notice here there's action settings, and we can select to kind of run them immediately. We can select to add them. Hold on one moment here. I'm seeing it has a weird trigger for my New Year's Eve campaign. Whoopsie daisies. Sometimes when you add in those additional qualifiers, it tries to be a little tricky here. So let's go ahead and kind of walk through that again. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's do the specific date. And again, we're going to select the 31st. And we're going to select to run this annually. Next. All. Next. And then we'll call this, something a little bit more original. Instead of New Year's Eve campaign, we'll call it, customer success meetup New Year's Eve campaign. Sorry, just wanted to, sometimes when you try and add those qualifiers, it can be a little tricky and doesn't want to save all the time correctly. So glad we caught that early so we can easily kind of get the ball rolling here. All right. Now we're back where we were. So we can go back to customer success meetup, New Year's Eve campaign. Again, we have our start date here, which is important to see so we know when it's going to start. Again, the other one, it didn't have, any qualifiers to starts when. So that's the important part for these date-based campaigns, right? We have to have a date. So now we got our date. And now, again, if we turn it on here, that's great, but we need to add some actions because we haven't told the smart campaign what we want it to do yet. So if I want to add an action in an email, I've already kind of created a template here for New Year's, and I can kind of type this in. So you can see New Year's 2024. I can kind of select it here. You can see here I have my, Happy New Year 2024. If I was running this annually, maybe I want to, just have it say Happy New Year or Happy Upcoming New Year since we're doing this for New Year's Eve. You can just download an image. You can see here in my template too, I have, some merge tags. So dear first name, this would say dear Jonathan, dear Sally, whoever. And then if I'm being honest, I cheated. I used a little chat GPT to kind of come up with a quick real estate response here for wishing my clients a happy new year and kind of helping them in their real estate endeavors for 2024. And it's got my full name, checking out my listings, and some things here. If we wanted to create a template, we can kind of walk through that a little bit later too. I'll be honest, some of these images I got from a Canva account. I have a free Canva account and just kind of selected some stock images. You can also look online for some stock images of New Year's. You can kind of create your own templates too. And then again, using the advanced email editor template. We can walk through that if you have questions at the end a little bit more on kind of creating that template specifically. But I know sometimes there's a lot of questions in these. Oh, I see one right now. Yeah. All right, Constance, I'll show you in creating a template for sure. So let me kind of pull up here. A second platform here to show y'all creating a template. Give me a moment here just to log in and I'll kind of show you that as well. So let me kind of log into my account specifically. Sorry, sometimes we have one way of logging in since we're special users of the platform here. The lock locks the smart campaign so you can't make any edits to it. So for example, let me just go ahead and kind of save this one really quick. We'll call this action 1. And this will come from the agent to the contact. And again, since it is a date-based campaign, we can select to have this on the start date or on a specific date. I'm going to go ahead and send this on the 31st. Kind of select that here and save these changes. But when you go to my Smart Campaigns library, if we look up some of these smart campaigns, you'll see kind of these icons. If you ever see one of these locks closed, I'm hoping I can kind of find one that's closed here, like Almost Christmas. We can't toggle it on or off. Now, as an office admin, I can, but if you were an agent, you wouldn't be able to turn it off or make any edits because it's locked at like the office level here. So good question there. Now, in regards to creating a template, we're going to go ahead here and kind of make a template. So give me a quick moment. If we go into Smart Campaigns, oops, it's going to ask me to log in. So give me a quick moment. Thanks for bearing with me here. And when we go to Smart Marketing, Smart Campaigns, we can go to templates here and then select to add a template. So if I want to add an email template, I can do that here. For purposes of today, I'm going to go ahead and just scoop this to myself. And then we can call this in our advanced email editor, because again, we're going to make this cool, right? We're going to add some pictures, we're going to add some words, we're going to do the whole 9 yards here. So we can put, Happy New Year's. And I really got to find out if New Year's Eve has an apostrophe or not. And then we'll call this, Happy New Year's Eve. So when we're in advanced email editor, we can kind of drag and drop rows as well as some styling, or you can just drag and drop from this content. So similar to how I had my New Year's Day, I'm just going to drag and drop kind of an image here. You can browse images. These are typically uploaded again by yourself, or if you're an admin, you can see like Teams and Offices folders. So if I click my name here, we can see images that I've uploaded previously. Um, so again, this like Happy New Year. If I want to select it, I can click it here and then insert it. And this will kind of pop up. You can also, again, if you want to make any changes to adjust the width, make this smaller, make this bigger, you can kind of select those options here in the auto width. Again, if I want to add a URL link to the image, so if I want to link this to like a New Year's Eve event that I'm hosting, I could put a link in there and that would automatically do it. Or there's some padding options. So if I turn this on, you can see here if I do this to the bottom, it's going to add some kind of white space here to the bottom. That's more for styling when you're adding kind of those padding options. The next thing I always like to do when I'm creating templates in advanced email editors, kind of space it out with rows. So if I know I'm going to kind of set this up similar to how I had my other template, I'm going to put a row here, and then I'm going to kind of toggle back to content here. And I like to put in rows first or kind of lay out the outline of how I want my template to go by adding in specific rows. You can see here, you can add 2 rows together. They can be equally spaced or kind of differently spaced. That's important just for styling or what content you want to put in. So if I have my text here, I have my text block ready. So for example, if I want to put in, let me kind of pull up that paragraph I had really quick. I'm going to go ahead and kind of copy and paste that here. For my real estate new year. Thanks for bearing with me while this gets rocking and rolling. Here we go. So I'm going to copy this here, kind of put in this text here. Again, we're going to use merge tags. So instead of client's first name, we're going to select the merge tag here and put in first name. So it pulls up that lead's first name. You know, as the new year draws, I want to take a moment, wish you fantastic New Year's. How I, you know, can help in your real estate goals. And then again, if we add our kind of information here and go ahead and add our merge tag of, you know, maybe I want to put in my full name as the agent. So we can say agent full name here. And then again, we kind of have our, don't know why I kind of spaced it out here, but let me get that a little bit better here. So we have our content here, our text that we want to put in. We shift over again to rows. Maybe I'm going to add 2 rows below here. And you can kind of see those pop in. Again, once I add my kind of rows, I like to go back to content here and then kind of put what I'm going to put. So again, maybe if I also want to put in dividers, I can kind of drag and drop them so you can see those kind of stylized dividers too. But I'm going to put in my social media here next, which is important. A big thing when you are putting social media into your advanced email template, you'll notice here it just has the Facebook link. So for example, if I wanted to put in my Facebook business page, in your KV Core platform, if you go to my profile, you can put in your social media links here. So I would just copy this after the facebook.com and then kind of add this into my template here. And you can pull that directly from your Facebook page too. It doesn't have to be directly from my profile. I have a couple of these open. And same thing here, if you had Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you just want to add kind of the back portion here for it to link accordingly. Now, again, if I'm going to select kind of different content to put in this other one, I can put in like a button. And I'm going to have this link directly to my listings. So if I kind of scroll down, instead of button, I can put, we're going to put check out my listings here. So that's what we want people to see, right? And then for the URL link, we would just go to our website here, which again, you can get from the top right drop down. You can see my website here. And whenever you hover over your agent, there's kind of this my listings option. Or if you select, find your house, it should be able to pull up your listings as well. I don't think I have a listing at the moment, so it's not letting me pull it up right here. But I do have an exclusive listing, so we'll go ahead and kind of link this to my exclusive listing here. Oops. So again, I'm going to put in my URL link. It's got my exclusive listing right here. But again, I would cater that to if I had any other listings, I can put that here. And then again, if I wanted to change the background color on my button, I can kind of do that here. If I want to make it, maybe a darker blue to match kind of this New Year's Eve, maybe I want to put, whoops. Maybe if I wanted to change the color here, I can do that as well. And if you know the numbers too, I know sometimes it's really important for branding to have specific numbers for colors. You can go ahead and kind of put those colors in here too. Or if you want to make it transparent, you can do it transparent as well. So I got this here. I see these are kind of in line, which is good to go. And I have my template. I can go ahead and add this template. I'm calling this my New Year's Eve template. So good to go there. We got this saved. Now, again, if we go back to my smart campaigns, now that we've built the template, and we look up customer success, kind of our customer success smart campaign, we can click on it here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this action because we're going to go ahead and add our new email that we created. So if I go to add actions, email, we're going to look up our New Year's Eve one, right? I think I called it customer success too, or let's New Year's Eve. Should sometimes populate immediately. Try that one more time. See if I put in Eve. Happy New Year's Eve, here we go. So we can see here we have kind of the same template we built out. It's got all of our information here. It's got our social media links. It's got check out my listings. And again, we'll call this, email one. Now this is where it gets important. This is going to come from me to the lead or the contact. And then do we want this to start on the start date of our campaign, which we selected as New Year's Eve here? Or do we want it to come on a different date? So again, if you're doing this for New Year's Day and you want to send an email out the day before, you can kind of select that here. You can also select, on the start date, which would be the date you selected when building the campaign. If you want to send something after, you can kind of do that as well. Maybe I want to send something on January 4th or something along those lines. You can kind of select that here. But since we selected our start date as the 31st, it can't be earlier than the 31st. For birthdays and home anniversaries, that's a little bit different. But specifically, if you select when you're building a smart campaign that's date-based, if you select a specific date, it has to start on that date, and then you can select kind of post dates after. So I'm going to select, on the start date, we want this to send. I can save these changes. Now, maybe I want to send a text, the day after wishing a happy new year too. I can add an action. I can send a text message here. If I want to use a template, I can. Let me see if I have a New Year's template. I don't see one here, so I can go ahead, kind of put in my own, but, oops. Hello. And then if I want to do a merge tag, I can select kind of those brackets. So shift and then the brackets next to the P. So I can do lead's first name, pulls up the lead's first name. That's the merge tag for the text message. Wishing you a happy 2024. And then again, if I want to put in my name here or my signature, I can again shift and then kind of pull up those brackets and look for kind of my merge tags here. So, my full name. And then again, I can call this text 1. And maybe I want to send this again the day after. So I'm going to send this on the 1st and save. Oops, I'll call this, New Year's 2024 text. And we'll have this come from me to the contact and save. So we got it turned on. We got it good to go. We have our actions in here. Next thing is it's going to attach to our leads. Now, sometimes you need to be a little patient. It can take a little bit of time to attach to our leads. I'm going to go ahead and kind of pick on my poor husband here. I'm hoping by the end of this, I'll probably take some questions after this, and then we can kind of see if it's attached. So you can see here, it's already on there. He's got our customer success meetup New Year's Eve campaign. And if we select, which is great because we can kind of see this in the active campaigns, if we select the future touch points from the lead timeline here, we can scroll up and we can kind of see when those emails will go out. Now, we did just create those actions here, so we don't kind of see it quite yet in these future actions. May just kind of be taking its time, but we do see that it has, kind of turned on and is attached. So we're just kind of waiting for the future touch points to occur. All right, I see some questions here. Yes, we will share the recording, so don't worry about that. Once you create these campaigns, do they automatically go out to everyone in your sphere based on that set date? If you select text instead of email under action settings, do you still select agent to contact if the source is more than one defined? So for Peter's questions, it will attach, date-based campaigns will attach to everyone kind of based upon those additional qualifiers. So what do I mean by that? If we go back into our smart campaigns and we're adding an action, when we select a specific date, you'll notice there's this additional qualifier here. So if I wanted this just to send to my sphere leads, I would select status is sphere. And then this date-based campaign would only attach to my sphere leads. I could also add more additional qualifiers kind of from these fields. So we can do like source and system source. If we want to add like source is, date year or something along, or Zapier. And then if I also want to say like status is, we're going to pick on sphere here. I can add those and then select a specific date. Maybe, my apologies, I think it only allows you to select maybe one optional qualifier when you're doing a specific date, like a specific date here. Let me kind of play with it, but we do, the 25th, select to run annually. Yeah, I think it's only going to allow me to select this one optional qualifier. So this is where you can select statuses, specific hashtags, sources, or system source as well. Hope that kind of answers your question. If you select text instead of email under action settings, do you still select agent to contact if the source is more defined? Let me kind of check the other Q&A here. Will it be both names for a couple? There is not an option to have both names for a couple. Kind of the best way around that is to create 2 leads. For example, I have my husband as Tim Klimlin. I would set up myself as my own kind of contact and then send the email to both. For search alerts and other, I would have to check the leads timeline. I know for search alerts, you can CC a second email, like a spouse's email. But for kind of smart campaigns, it would send to that one email and it would pull that initial person's information. Now for Pete, I'm going to go ahead and kind of put you, or Pete, Is it Peter? Peter, I'm going to go ahead and kind of, if you can elaborate on your question here, you should be able to kind of talk with your question about, if you select text instead of email.
Yeah, so in the campaign, where
Yeah.
the page that you're on, under optional for source instead of I guess all or contact, I put client.
Oh, for source. So when we're selecting source is here, this is source from the leads. So I'm going to pull up kind of this other platform and I'm going to go into all contacts here. And you'll notice when I'm looking at this, there's kind of this source option. So you can see here, this is source Zapier, this is source nosy neighbor, this is a specific column. And when you pull up your columns, you can kind of scroll down and select to have source here turned on. So that's what source is from. Now, sometimes, for example, with Zapier or other third parties, you can actually change what this source says. Um, so kind of sometimes I always like to say the true indicators, if you click on the lead and go to the profile details, you'll see this system source option. This is telling you it came directly from Zapier. Sometimes it will say, if this says Facebook or something, you can see system source like Property Boost or something along those lines. Or, direct website would be like an agent website or something along those lines. Does that help or answer your question?
Um, yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to just give me 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. Does anyone else have questions? You can raise your hand, ask in the chat. This is everyone's time here, and I'm here to answer those questions that anyone has.
Okay, I figured it out. So that yeah, the start camp when you create a new campaign and for under optional qualifier, it's I selected status is
Mhm.
and then client. Is that what you were trying to explain to me before?
Yeah, so status is client. This would be like, again, instead of source, see here how there's this status option that says, prospect and new leads. If we're in our smart CRM here, we would filter. You can select, and again, you just press this filter here. If I select client here, if you're creating a date-based campaign, these leads right here, these are essentially all the leads that are going to get that email or text message or whatever you're putting into that smart campaign.
Right, but so the campaign action, uh, it's still going to be from agent to contact. Like you don't have to make it
Oh
something
yeah.
else. Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit different screen. Let me actually kind of click on our campaign here. When you're selecting kind of emails and stuff, this is where it's going to say from the agent to the contact. And you'll notice too, you can actually have this come from the lender or the system. The system's a little unique, but I would say 9 times to 10 times out of 10, you're probably going to select agent to contact. Maybe
Okay.
if you're creating a smart campaign specifically for your lender or you want to introduce your lender, you can have that lender option. But more often than not, this is always going to be agent from contact. And that's important because again, when we pull a merge tag like my full name, it's going to say Kelly Kalimlin or Peter. I'm not going to try and butcher your last name,
Mhm.
but it will have your name instead of somebody else's. And that's important too if you're an office admin or team admin, because if you're creating this for your team, you don't always want it to say Kelly Kalimlin. Maybe you want it to say, Sally Smith or something. So those merge tags are important. Cool. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. Any other questions that anyone has? All right. Well, we have plenty of time here, so if you want, does anyone want me to go over anything else? I'd be happy to go over some other kind of system features here if there's anyone that wants like a deep dive into something. Video and email. All right. So I got that from Rosie. I think Danette has her hand up. So let's ask Danette's question and I can probably get to both of those. Um, Danette, what is your question? I think I allowed you to
Yeah. So basically setting this up, it's gonna automate it and it will go out for whatever date it's set for. Is it like recapturing the lead, like trying to, like what exactly is the
yeah.
purpose behind setting it up, I guess?
So this is important for holidays because anytime you want to keep in touch with your leads, you can kind of send out those emails. And what's important here, specifically for this template, is we have them selected to check out my listings and we're sending them back to the website, as well as we have kind of our social media feeds here too. So that's what's always kind of important is when you do send this, or send text messages or emails back to your leads, you're staying top of mind because people forget, especially this time of year, and especially I don't know, I do it myself in January, but I always kind of say that the new year, new me. And I think a lot of people's dreams, especially for the new year, including myself, is like, I want a bigger, nicer, better house. And that's where kind of real estate agents come in too, is now you're putting yourself at the top of like, okay, made sure to send all of my leads this Happy New Year's email. And for those who are interested in real estate goals, they know that they can work with me. And I'm sending them back to my website. I'm sending them to my social media links so you can see that re engagement. If you have behavioral automation set up, that's great too, because then that's going to send them emails and text based upon those leads action. So, again, if they do go back to your website, there's certain settings like if a lead returns after 2 weeks, it will send them like a text message or something or an email. So again, you're going to stay at the top of the mind there. And it's also, again, I think it's just a kindness too to tell people happy holidays.
Right.
You get those holiday cards from people and put them on your fridge or around the house. This is just kind of doing it a little bit virtually. And the nice part of it is you create the smart campaign, it attaches to everyone. You don't have to worry about it again. It just sends
Gotcha.
automatically.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so Rosie, whoa, we got a few more questions here. Uh, so we got video and email. So let me kind of get to Rosie's question of doing a video and an email. So let's kind of edit this template here. There's a few options here. So you can do, I believe, a YouTube video or a Vine. So I'm going to go back to my rows. I'm going to throw in like a little row here, and then I'm going to go to content. And you'll notice there's this video option, which we can kind of drag and drop.
Mhm.
And you can see here, this is for a YouTube or Vimeo link, or Vimeo. Again, hooked on phonics, kids, so I probably pronounced that wrong. You can easily just paste in the URL links for those YouTube videos. Keep in mind, it will show, for example, if I go to, YouTube, I go home here, and I look, let's do like New Year's Eve ball drops real quick. You can kind of, pull this up. It's always going to try and play an ad sometimes. So if we skip the ad here, oops, we can kind of copy this link here for this ball drop and go ahead and, whoops, put this here in our URL link. So again, we have it here. When I click out of it, or when I click on it, it will kind of show the preview. That's how it will look, and when a lead clicks on it, it will take them directly to the YouTube link. We don't have an option right now to play with inside the email, but you can make some changes here. where you can change, how you want it to look as a play button. So if I want to make this like a square or something, I can do that here. If I want it to be dark, if I want to make it, super big or something, I can do that here. And you can change the title a little bit, but it would kind of just show a quick screen grab and send that. The other option you can do, I don't have this in my account, but if you have Core Video Premium, you can use that here and select videos that you create in BombBomb or create your own videos and kind of use those. So that would play, I believe, directly in the email, which is nice, but you would have to have Core Video Premium to do that in the video. All right, next is Peter. How do you create a funnel for new prospects that have been automatically added in KV Core? I have a few people who have contacted me through an ad and I boosted, and I would like to create a drip for them. So that's a great question. So first things first is we're going to create like a funnel for these people who have, you've done an ad. So let's take, for example, if you've done a property boost. Every property boost is going to have a specific hashtag, as well as it will have like property boost as a source. So if I clear my filters here and I go to filters here, I can create, again, a filter to funnel for those specific leads. So I can go to contact details and I can go to hashtag. For example, we're going to use property boost here. But if I select PB, property, you can see like property boost expcon. Unfortunately, I haven't bought a property boost. I'm not a real estate agent, so that's probably why I don't have too many hashtags in here. But it would be like PB for property boost and then the address or something along those lines. Or if we scroll down, you can look up contact source or system source. And if we look up property boost here, again, I might not have it. You can kind of look those up. Whoops. And create like a filter for that. So for purposes of today, we're just going to use hashtag that property boost expcon. And then again, if I want to apply the filter, I can apply it. I can also save the filter. And if I want to pin it to the top, I can do that here and call this, my property boost or PB. I'll call these property boost leads, PB leads. Save this filter. Now, since it's pinned to the top, we can see all my contacts. Again, mine's a demo account, so I got a lot going on here, but if I keep going to the left, you can see here I have my PB leads and I can select them and it will show those leads specifically. So again, we can see kind of all these leads here. Now, if I wanted to go a step further and create a smart campaign for them, I would probably use the same filter of this hashtag for my smart campaigns. So I would just go to marketing, smart campaigns, add a campaign, and then I would just do hashtag is, property boost expcon. And then what's nice here is if you're not doing a date-based campaign, you're only doing this for new leads that are coming in with these specific hashtags, you can add, multiple triggers. So I can say hashtag is, property boost, and I can also add, statuses, prospect, so that it has to meet both of those qualifiers for this to run specifically. Also, why no 4th of July campaign? I might have created one. I think we have a template for 4th of July. Let me kind of check here. I probably spelled that wrong. Independence. We do July. Yeah, so we have like 4th of July example here for templates. You can easily do that again for my campaigns and for holidays. You can do that for 4th of July for sure. You can do the same thing we did for New Year's of 4th of July and kind of send that out and have that run annually too. Can you use a Canva video or only YouTube? I believe you can only do YouTube. You can't do a Canva video for that. Um, so I have a Remax Christmas video. I'll need to add it to YouTube and get the URL. Yes, ideally you would have to put that in YouTube and get the URL link or Vimeo. Um, one of those two. All right. So I'm going through these. I'm gonna try and kind of answer all of these live here. Any other questions or things that we got about, again, a little under 15 minutes here. And again, I'm happy to answer any. Oh, Danette, do you still have your hand raised or with a different question? Or is it just raised? Again, if you have a question, you can raise your hand or type it in the box. And I'll try and get to it as soon as possible. I know I'm getting ready here for the holidays. I can't believe it's a week until Christmas essentially. I just kind of realized I have a young son. We only got him like one present, so I'm kind of scrambling the next few days. Throw it on the success meetup until we get. All right. Sorry, and going back to the ad I boosted, I'm setting up the campaign now. So basically, I just need to create a couple email templates to send out or text messages. I was trying to get more what detail to add or how long to run a drip for. That's a great question. That there's kind of multiple options there. So what I would typically look at on kind of the best practices for smart campaigns or drip campaigns is if you reach out. We have like a Facebook group that can be helpful too, or reaching out to other real estate agents, as well as sometimes looking at our KV Core library. There will be some like default or kind of campaigns that you can look and kind of see here. So a lot of these have about 20 or 18 tasks. Some of them have less, some of them have more. You can look at again, default active seller. You can kind of click on here. This one's just weekly check-ins, but you can create kind of other campaigns. For example, if we look here, default, get seller leads, you can see here there's a text that goes out in 5 minutes, an email that goes out on day 3, a task to set up listing alerts and valuations. So there's lots of kind of options there in regards to best practices and what works best. It's hard for me to say specifically. I do typically recommend reaching out quickly. Basically, I would attach my lead hashtag to those campaigns. So we kind of, sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. Not always my my two strong suits here. But for like best practices, sometimes I think obviously kind of speed to lead is going to be probably the most important of trying to get in communication with them as soon as possible. So those 5 to 10 minutes once you kind of create the smart campaign. After that, the follow-up, I would say, it really depends on where these leads are coming from. If they're coming from an ad, you might want to do like day 1 and then kind of day 2 and then, wait a few more days to have that interaction to see, are they going to move to active lead? What's nice sometimes with behavioral automation too, for example, if we go to marketing and behavioral automation settings, you can see here you have this turned on. So anytime a new lead or like a sphere, or excuse me, anytime a prospect or new lead kind of emails back or text you back, it will move them to active lead, which in turn can also turn off those smart campaigns based upon if status is a setting. So if status is set to new lead and they become an active lead, it would drop them from the campaign, which might be helpful. So again, this person's active, they're actively searching. that can kind of help. What I can also recommend if you're new like me to the real estate game sometimes, we do have done for you success services down here, and they can actually create kind of some situational smart campaigns for you or help create custom campaigns, and you can kind of look into those, and there's some pricing for that. In regards to basically, I would attach my lead hashtag to those campaigns. If the leads are already in your smart CRM and you don't have the smart campaign built yet, or you build it after the leads have registered, you would have to attach them manually. So what do I mean by that? For example, if I got 20 leads from an ad I ran in the ads over, and I want to add them to a smart campaign I just built, you would filter for them. So similar to, again, how I created my filter here, if I wanted to attach it to kind of those property boost leads, we can kind of select the filter here. Or again, you can just start from scratch and look up the hashtag. Now, your platform should allow you to go up to 250 rows. Mine, unfortunately, only allows me to 10. So you can select rows 250, and then you can click the top left here by name. And then from here, you can go to more actions and add a campaign. So again, if you ran an ad and you forgot to create the smart campaign prior to the ad, that's totally fine. You can just add the campaign manually here. So again, if we had, I don't know if I have a property boost smart campaign, but I can attach my call campaign here to all these leads, and then it would start running as needed if the campaign came after the leads. What's nice though is after you built that smart campaign, any new lead that comes in with that hashtag or those qualifiers or whatever you set it up for will automatically attach. It just takes about, do be patient with the system. It'll take about 5 or 10 minutes to attach, but it will attach. So great questions. Any other questions or concerns? All right, well, I'll give it another minute or two here, and if there's no other questions, I will stop the recording. And thank you all for being a part of it today, and happy holidays to everyone as well. I know this is a fun time of year for everyone, so hopefully if you have children, you did better than me on the shopping. One thing too is we are going to have these success meetups for the of kind of this week. So we will have one tomorrow and Thursday as well. So won't see me there, but you will see some of our other trainers there, and we'll be going over some fun things too. Awesome. Thanks, Rosie. There's no other questions or concerns, so I'm going to give it like a going once, going twice. And then I will hop off because I hope this was helpful for everyone. I hope everyone enjoys the holiday seasons. And yeah, have a great day, and thanks for joining me on our holiday-based smart campaigns. Bye, everyone.